We're live. Hi. It's James Bay with Carson and Kane. How are you, James?
I'm very good. I'm very good. It's a brief stint one, but we're here for like 24 hours, but it's good to be here.
And you started out pretty wet today,
Yeah.
right? In Central
Yeah.
Park Summer Stage?
Yeah.
Ironically, in the UK right now, it's glorious, and it has been for a good week or so. So it was. We didn't. I'm gonna say I didn't bring that rain. I don't think.
No.
Usually
it was
I would
bad.
have. It would be like me as a UK person to bring it over, but it was totally New York today, and it was wonderful. It was great. The crowd were amazing.
We needed the rain, though, so
Yeah.
if you did bring it, that's
All right,
quite
sweet.
all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe. All right, sweet.
It was bound to happen, but you had a nice crowd out there.
They were
You have a
great.
lot of fans here in New York.
It's very cool. Yeah, they were amazing.
So you have an upcoming tour where you're coming back here to the U.S.
Yes.
and playing Radio City on September 30th. Were you excited about that?
I've been saying to a few people today that I have been coming to New York quite often, quite regularly for sort of 3 or 4 years, and we've always at some point driven past Radio City Music Hall, and now it's going to have my name in those lights, and that's an enormous sort of sensation of excitement. I can't wait.
Wait till you see how it feels on stage. It's going to be amazing.
I bet. Yeah.
What do you like to do when you're in New York?
Eat pizza. I like to do a lot of that. I like to
Really? Because you don't look like you eat too much pizza.
I really do. Like
And
to
that's
do
a
lot of that.
compliment,
I'll
man,
take it.
because
I'll
I'm
take
sitting
it.
over here like sucking it in, and you're like,
No,
if you pushed it out, you would be sucking it in.
First of all, both of these guys have the longest legs ever. And I'm so like,
Just fill them with
Trying
pizza.
to-
I try and just fill them with pizza. I like to eat pizza in New York. I genuinely do. And I kind of like to sort of. I grew up watching a lot of movies with New York, and like we all have. But if you're not from here, you get here, and for a good sort of 3 or 4 years, and I hope I get to come here a lot more. But I just like to walk around, like walk the streets, and just see it all, like in the flesh.
Like, what have you seen in a movie, and you got here and saw, and you were like, okay, that's pretty cool, or that's not so cool? I
The
thought it was.
Ghostbusters building.
Yeah.
it's
Ghostbusters firehouse building, like that, and that, even before the recent one came out, I went to see it for the first time a year ago or something, and I'm a huge fan of those movies, so it was very cool to go and see that. But just like yellow taxi cabs and stuff like that, like and the bridges and all the sort of the bigger sort of brushstrokes that make up New York, and the little details as well. But even for me, still those big ones are a huge moment every time I'm actually in front of them. When we come into New York and you see the skyline,
That never gets old.
it never gets old. It's incredible.
Every single day.
when we drive in and we see the skyline, we're like, wow, I can't believe we work in New York. And we're from here.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Even actually, that's nice to know as well too, that you're from here, and like it doesn't get old. It's always exciting. Like
It doesn't get old because we're from here and have never been to the Statue of Liberty or
Or the
the
top
Empire
of the-
State Building.
No, I've been
right
to the
there.
top of it. Have you done any of that kind of touristy stuff? Seen the Statue of Liberty?
yeah, I did.
Monument Trade?
I did a one thing that I guess doesn't get talked about as much that I really enjoyed was there's like you can get those boats around and go under all the bridges, and they talk about the bridges, and they talk about the sort of I suppose the history of that part of New York, and it's along the river, which is amazing. I really enjoyed that. I'm such a huge sort of fan of being here, and like it's like when you ask someone, give me your like top 3 best albums, and then you forget all the music you've ever listened to. I'm now forgetting all the things I've done in New York, but I do.
Oh,
I
that's
genuinely love it. Yeah.
That's okay. You know what I just I think is so cool is you love Eric Clapton, you loved Eric and the Dominoes, and Bruce Springsteen too.
Yeah.
Tell me about your love for Bruce.
That's I guess that's like my dad's generation of music. And he introduced me to that stuff. When I got into, when I sort of sparked up about wanting to play the guitar and stuff like that, he never sort of pushed anything on me musically, but it was kind of around those records and that stuff. And I did a lot of sort of discovering on my own, and it was because of his record collection, but it was as based off something as simple as I'd see like the cover of Born to Run, the album, the Springsteen album. There's a guitar on the front, so I'm going to go and listen to it and see what's going on and listen to the guitar stuff. And it started very simply like that, and just grew. And I've sort of geeked out online and read up a lot about a lot of those artists from that era, and how they sort of trail into the music of now. And I've been a total sort of geek about that stuff for forever. Sleeve notes, all that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, and you met Clapton, right?
Yeah, very briefly.
Yeah,
very,
but tell
very
us.
briefly.
He smiles just thinking about it.
I wanted to marry Clapton, so I want to hear
Yeah,
this
sure.
story.
No, it was super brief, and I'm not very good at You know, right now, like at this point in my life, I'm lucky. I get to sort of rub shoulders with certain people and you know, famous musicians from time to time, and it's an incredible experience to do that and sort of talk on sort of similar terms about life. But I was in quite a hurry. I was at the airport and I was going through the security bit, and I needed to get through and catch the flight. I was a bit late, and I was rushing through. So I came to the security thing. You get all your stuff like off and take your bag off and empty it and put it in the trays and all that stuff. And I'm moving through as fast as I can. I get it all in. I feel like everything that's in there that needs to be in there is in, so that I can walk through the thing, kind of, and not like no beeps go off or anything like that. I succeeded that part. That's great. I stand there. I'm looking around. I'm waiting for my stuff to come through. I had a guitar and a bag and a jacket and stuff like that. And it comes through and I'm checking it out and I'm looking around, sort of making sure it's like I'm free to run, and the guitar comes through and the bag comes through and I'm looking around and suddenly I see Eric Clapton and then I sort of stop and I'm like, whoa, hang on.
He was in security line too?
Yeah, he was just on the other side, and so he was with his like family and stuff. So I'd never met him before. I haven't met him since, and I just thought totally like a kind of private, personal sort of situation going on over here. It's not like he's out promoting anything. He's in an airport. So, but I went over and sort of discreetly and it was very British, but I just went, hey, I'm a huge fan. Like, thank you. And I'm just like shaking his hand, like, thank you for your music and just have a great day.
Did you have your guitar on you?
I did, but none of that was going to happen.
Did you say who you were?
Yeah.
I'm a musician too,
wondering.
or none of that?
No, I couldn't. I can't handle like how sort of self-promote-y that is. I would never do any of that. Just
Don't bring James any CDs if you're seeing him.
No,
I'm in a band.
People are welcome to do that. I just don't do it. But he was cool, and it's that thing. You know, you think if you meet like your kind of idols and that, you think, well, what on earth would I say? And the most important thing I figure with someone like that is just to say thanks for your music, because it really did inspire me to pick up the guitar and write songs. You know, so it was very cool moment, because it felt kind of special in a way. It was very brief and fleeting, but like it was just sort of discreetly kind of in the airport, like there he was just on minding his own business, and I got to say hi and thanks.
That's awesome.
Some of your fans asked that question too. Who would you like to, whether they're dead or alive, like to write with? Like, who is a dream of yours?
I've been asked a similar question before, and my favorite thing to say, instead of, there's an author that I really, really like, and he died in the 80s. His name's James Baldwin, and I genuinely love his words, and because the books and the stories are great, but also because I feel like so much of his writing, I read it, it sounds like lyrics, like it's very poetic. It's like fiction and it's stories, kind of with starts and middles and ends, but it kind of sounds like lyrics when you read it. So he, like I say, he passed away in the 80s, but like I would love to sort of sit down with the guitar and talk to him, and even I've watched interviews, and the way he speaks or spoke, you know, it's very lyrical. So I kind of love to. It's a total sort of curveball answer, but James Baldwin, the author, would be an amazing person to do that with.
Because he would write pretty much your lyrics when you think about it.
Yeah.
So do you find it? What's easier for you, coming up with the music or coming up with the lyrics?
The music comes faster and quicker, and it's very it's there in my hands as a guitar. Melodies kind of float around. Words have to have a lot more context. Lyrics have to have a lot more context for me. They have to be based on something, about something, you know, that's happened to me or to someone very close to me, and they have to be quite real in that respect. And then they have to sort of form into something that feels lyrical as opposed to just sentences. Mm-hmm. So it's a longer process. I think of lines, like things, you know, words and phrases kind of come up that feel lyrical, and I'll sort of write them down and remember them or whatever. But music happens more and faster, melodies, than all the music.
Do you do the bed thing with the notepad or the recorder at the side of your bed, and you come up with stuff as you're half falling asleep, and you? Yeah,
it's funny that the things I find, like a lot of people, I guess, that close to sort of before going to sleep, but I mean like at the end of the night and first thing in the morning, your mind is quite empty. I mean, there are some days when before you go to sleep, you know, you struggle to go to sleep because you're just your head is so busy with thoughts, but a lot of the rest of the time, at the end of the day and at the start of the day, you're just quite sort of zen, more so than usual in the other parts of the day. And you just, ideas kind of flow through easier and sort of spring up out of nowhere, especially in the morning. And I find those are the some of my most creative times. So I do try and keep like pens and paper around. Totally.
Let me ask this one. This is a good one from, I think it's Anouk Van Veen from our Facebook page. What do you like to do outside of music that contributes to your musicality? In essence, like a hobby.
Outside of music that contributes to my musicality? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I like to draw a lot. I draw, and I've done that since before music. People.
People?
I don't like drawing like fruit in a bowl or like buildings. I don't like still like
Landscapes
Do
or
you feel
anything
like
like
drawing
that.
right now? Because I got a pen and a piece of paper.
Is that? I feel like this has been sort of. I feel like you saw this coming. I
didn't steer you there.
I do like with music, the way it sort of feels my musical side as well is I like trying to sort of capture emotions, you know, in drawing as well. So yeah, I like being creative in that way as well, and it kind of, I guess, somehow sort of feels at my musical creative side. I don't know how.
Sell those for charity. You know,
Sure.
There's
I
always
do-
artists who draw
Even a
things.
doodle, even just like a quick thing would
Yeah.
get a lot of money.
I don't know if I don't know if I really. I don't think I've done that yet. Good idea. I'll take that and run with it. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'd love it.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
feel free.
So I guess asking about your hobbies and things like that. What do you like to do in your free time? Like summer, do you water ski? Do you?
I don't water ski. I do play football, the English version.
Okay.
So soccer.
Soccer, sure.
Okay, soccer.
really
Sure.
impressed with you.
We're
Good job.
we're the Americans.
That's
so,
cool.
like,
No, it's
you
cool.
You call it whatever you want. You were there first.
I do like to play football because it's totally, entirely removed from everything that I do. It's not. I don't know if it's creative. It's competitive, and I like that. And I guess so is music in a lot of respects. But
It's artistic.
Yeah.
maybe, you know,
That footwork is hard.
It's
maybe.
beautiful to some people when they watch it. You know,
I
mean,
do. I like that kind of thing. I guess. You know, it's.
What about basketball? You're awfully tall.
I don't mind a bit of basketball. I'm no good at
That's
it.
the whole. Well, whenever somebody's tall, you play basketball.
No, I do you?
No,
No.
no, I'm not as
Both
tall as you.
boys.
No, I jump about like 3 inches. I can't.
I'm the same.
Yeah,
It's okay. We're good. We got other things going for us. It's all good.
yeah.
Well, we only have a couple minutes left, and I know that Eleanor Gale wanted to know about your love life. Are
My
you still
love
with
life.
your girlfriend?
I am. Yes.
You told a lovely story earlier in the year about going to the Grammys and being able to buy her a dress for the first time.
Yeah, that was cool. I slightly don't remember telling that story, but those things did happen. those things did happen. I guess it's
Well, life's different for you now, so it must be cool to like do different things.
yes, that is
and
cool.
for your
That's
parents or whatever.
yeah, totally. That sort of thing's cool. Life is a bit different. I guess really though, I try and keep that private part of my life as the same as it's always been, and I don't treat anybody differently, obviously. And the greatest thing in the world is they don't treat me any differently. People, they're proud, you know, my family and my friends from growing up and stuff, who I'm still very much like, they're a huge part of my life. They're proud, and that counts. Otherwise, I wouldn't want anything to change. Like someone asked me about going back to my hometown, where I don't live there. I live in London, but they asked me about what it's like going back there, and is it all a bit of a song and dance when you get there and that stuff? And I said that would be the worst thing in the world if anybody even made anything. I just, even to think about, like, no, it's I don't care to be kind of noticed in that respect. There.
You just want to walk around
Yeah.
and be James,
like I was before, and like I still am, and like it all still should be. Yeah. So I think things have changed. Things have changed in a really great way. You know, the adventure that I've been on and that I'm still on, and that I'm going to get to go on more, is more than I ever sort of hoped it would be. But the greatest and luckiest thing is that nobody from where I started out has kind of changed.
All right.
Towards me and me towards them.
Are you going to have time this summer to go home?
Yeah, I hope so. It's not far from where I live in London, so it's easier to just sort of stop in once in a while. So yeah.
Good.
How about Nemi? Nemi wants to know when you start on your next album, do you have a clear idea which way you want to go with your songwriting?
No,
No,
not at all. But I don't have a clear idea. That's the greatest thing about it. It would be a bit strange if I had a clear idea. If I sort of saw what the end looked like. That's not as exciting as the journey of writing new music, making new music, and recording new music. So, I don't have. I maybe have a tiny bit of an idea, which is helpful, but I don't want to have any more of an idea than that at the moment, because it's about the journey as opposed to, oh, that sounds a bit deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really do. What about sound-wise? You going to stick in the same lane, or are you going to go?
I'm going to try and I like this sort of, I like even more energy.
Okay.
I'd like to grab a sort of piece of what we do on stage. The album doesn't sound the same as how it comes across on stage and live with my whole band. So I'd like some more of that sort of raucous energy from the live show. I'll still go super intimate for some songs because I can never help. I like to do that, but I want to get a bit more of a sort of wild sensation coming off the record. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for coming in, man.
Time.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
James.
me. Thanks for having me.